Hi, this is Shireen, and I'm interviewing Nikki for our final project. Where are you from originally, and why did you choose to come to the U.S.?
I'm from Vietnam, and I came here because my grandpa was in the war, and he has a refugee that came here, and obviously he just think it'll be a better, idea for the whole family to come over here. So I came here, not by choice, but
So, as a refugee from the war.
yeah, sort of.
Alright, so what were some of the most challenging obstacles you faced when you first arrived to the U.S.?
I think it would just be like the culture shock and the language. So obviously, like I've learned a little bit before, but like you learn something, but then you don't really use it, so you don't know how hard it is to actually be in a place where it's like you feel like you're a complete stranger, like nobody, you don't understand anybody, no one understands you, and you just feel like lost. So I think that, and just the fact that the culture is very different, and that's really just kind of like wow you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really different from back home.
Yeah.
That's true. So, how did you cope with these challenges?
I think I definitely just have a really hard time because I am like, when I first came here, I was really shy also, so I wasn't exactly like, yay, let's go make friends and let's go meet everybody. So it's definitely hard to like kind of break out your shell and trying to like, understand it's okay to like meet people and like they're not gonna like bite you. So I think that's like something I really have to overcome in the language and learning to speak so that I don't afraid that people will laugh at me or people won't understand me. So probably those two would be the biggest.
Mm-hmm. And what are some challenges that you still face today? Or are there any that you're still facing today?
I would say it would still be like in writing, like definitely like I can talk better and I can communicate, but my grammar still isn't as perfect. So it's still, it's still here and there with that. And then obviously, I broke out my shell a little, but it's still the whole like still getting over like it's okay to like be bubbly and meet people and not afraid they're gonna judge you. So I think that would just be the two that I'm still. So the same problem basically, in less severe manner.
But you don't think there's any discrimination that you deal with, or?
I think definitely there's a little bit of discrimination. Like it wasn't anything like bad, but I definitely like I experienced like being made fun of because of your name or because you were different. So there's a little bit of here and there, but I think as you get older, I kind of grew out of it. So it wasn't like as hard as for me to take it when I was like first came here, like middle school or high school.
Mm-hmm. And how are you coping with those challenges?
You're talking about the discrimination?
Well, the discrimination and maybe language. With the writing, do you go go to any school services for the writing, or?
I'll have friends like read over and like try to correct the grammar, or I'll try to read books or watch movie or little things like that. And then I think with the discrimination, I think it's just like a fact of whether you learn to get over it and not take it so personal, or like eventually you will make friends that accept you for who you are, and then you kind of forget that fact that there's always going to be people that hate, but
you just have to live with it.
Yeah.
All right. And so, what support services like clubs, organizations, or agencies have helped you transition into the American culture?
I wouldn't say I was in any like necessarily club or organization. Like I did track in high school, so track helped. So, but I think the point of those is being in there like allows you to meet new people, and it kind of forces you to like talk to people and open up. And I think in that aspect it really helps. So I didn't personally do a lot of club, but I think like just hang out with my friend and like my friend dragging me to certain things. Not necessarily I'm in a club, but I just came for fun, and through that like you meet people when you start talking, and it kind of like break that barrier a little for you.
Weren't you part of the Asian American Association at UNR?
Yeah, I used to.
Do you think that helped you?
I think it definitely makes you feel a little more fit in, because definitely in high school like you don't have like a culture kind of club, so it's a little harder for you to like, oh well, I might be in this club but I don't always fit in. So it is kind of nice to kind of get together with people of your race or your culture and kind of like celebrate and do little thing and knows that you can be kind of both, like a little Asian, but you can still be American at the same time.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Well, what are some things that you like the most about living in the U.S.?
Oh. I would say, like, it's weird for me to say that. Like, I like the weather. I definitely like it better than the humidity and the sweatiness of, like, being in Vietnam, you know. Lots of traffic and all, but still, I just can't take all that. I think it's just the culture. Like, you know, as melting pot as it is, I guess, like, it has this, like, perk. Definitely something about the culture. It's a mix of everything, you know. It's not completely, you know, it's not completely this or that. It's like everything melts together, and you can really be your own here, I feel like.
Yeah, just be an individual and do your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you still have family here in the U.S., right? Or
Over there?
here in the U.S.
Yeah, I have all my dad's side families are here, and most of my mom's side of the family still live back in Vietnam.
And how do you think they're adjusting to the American culture? Do you think they're as Americanized as you are now, or?
I wouldn't say my parents. I mean, they are and they aren't. Like, obviously, I think that's because they don't grow up here and they didn't go through their, like, the toughest time, like the teenager years here. So they don't, let's say, are Americanized as like I was, you know, going through all that. But I think they're getting there. You know, they're definitely picking up on the culture and the food and the language. And might not be perfect, but you know, they're getting there. So
Yeah, that's good. And do you still have family living abroad back in Vietnam?
yeah, just
correct?
most of my mom's side family. Yeah,
Do you guys communicate often, and how?
we usually do it like once a week, like with my aunt, because I have like my cousin like that live with me. You know, also studying abroad. So we Skype or we Facebook, Yahoo Messenger.
So social media.
Yeah, that's everything.
And then last question, what would you recommend for others consider living abroad in the U.S.?
I would say having an open-minded and like, you know, be open to a lot of things and don't come here with just a one mindset like, oh, this is the free land, I can do everything. It is and it isn't. Like, don't expect it, you know, expect the best, but don't expect the greatest, because it's definitely come with challenges. But it is a great place. There's plenty of opportunity and there's endless of possibility you can do here.
That's good. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.